I'm Welton Gaddy. Welcome to State of Belief, continuing coverage of the 2020 Democratic National Convention across America. 8 years ago, Sister Simone Campbell spoke to the 2012 Democratic National Convention, receiving huge cheers as one of the original nuns on the bus. She discussed the Paul Ryan budget and the moral requirement to stand with the poor and the forgotten. Returning once again for this year's unconventional convention, Sister Simone appeared in a non-political role, but her very presence sends a strong message about the values and priorities the party leaders want to amplify, as do I. And so, Simone, thank you for being with us.
Oh, great to be with you, Welton, as always.
So what did it mean to you that you were invited back?
Oh, well, I have to say that when I was asked, tears sprang to my eyes, because what I know is Vice President Biden made the choice of who prayed on the night he accepted the nomination, and that he chose me was so humbling and touching, but also a reflection of his own faith and how grounded he is in a faith that does justice. And so, what can I say? It was a treasure. That's a treasure.
It had to be. Network Lobby has been bold in addressing the moral challenges posed by the current state of our nation. What led to that decision?
Well, Welton, I mean, I am really pleased with our board who made the decision. We're a political organization, so we're not the charitable side. We're a C4. But our C4 board made the decision that we could not leave anything on the table this election cycle, because the current administration violates every single principle of Catholic social teaching that exists. Everything from trying to undermine health care, tearing children away from their parents at the border, being so violent and hostile towards immigrants, undermining the very social fabric, trying to undermine the census and our capacity to vote. I mean, the list goes on and on. And so when we saw that they do not measure up in the most drastic way possible, our board said, we have to take a position to oppose the reelection of this administration. It will be wrong, morally wrong, to continue to give them the opportunity to do the damage that they're doing. So we've been bold, we've been outspoken, that's for sure, but it will continue. It will continue.
Simone, I listened back to your 2012 speech, and to tell you the truth, it was heartbreaking to realize how hopeful those days were, and how instead of continued progress, many of the ideals and incremental goals of the time have been crushed under the steamroller of this administration and its policies. And I know you're going to disagree with me on this, but I'm going to say it anyway. There are times I don't see a way that we could ever go back. What about you?
Oh, well, then we're not going to go back. That would be a mistake. What I think we have, and what my prayer at the convention is about, is that, okay, Genesis opens with the Spirit of the divine breathing over the waters of chaos and bringing forth a new creation. And so that's the opportunity we have. We have the waters of chaos up to our neck and beyond. but the Spirit can breathe over them and bring forth something new, a new creation. So we've got to address the issues of racism. We've got to address the issues of income and wealth disparity. We've got to address the issues of, in a time of pandemic, people don't have access to health care. So it's not that we will go back, but rather we'll go forward. And maybe, I just thought of this now, I don't know, maybe this whole waters of chaos, maybe what it is that, you know, like in Exodus, that there will be the parting of the seas and we can walk through and be saved. Or it's just the emerging out of the chaos, something new will come. But it's not going back. We can't. It was nice. The past should send us a postcard so we can remember it. But what we have to do is build forward something new. And as Vice President Biden's motto is right now, build back better. That's it.
Well, if you hadn't answered that way, I was just going to turn this off and quit because I knew that you were going to tell me you can't go back and you can't feel that. And I'm really glad to hear you say that. There are Catholics in this country with very strong feelings about key moral issues, which are informed by their faith, but not always the same. Is there a way to start conversations across that divide that could serve as a model for the nation as a whole?
Well, we're trying to have conversations. One of the problems that's hard on this issue, the moral issue of abortion, which is the one that is so rigidly held onto, and it's expressed in your attitude towards Roe v. Wade. And what we're trying to do is to say, let's be Pope Francis voters. And your listeners can go to popefrancis.org. Oh, no, popefrancisvoter.org and see what we've put up. But we're trying to say what Pope Francis does. Care for the unborn is critically important. But it's not the political thing that you've got to outlaw abortion as being the only Catholic teaching. No, what the Catholic teaching is care for the unborn. And so we're trying to have that conversation. How do we care? For us, the way we care for the unborn is to ensure that pregnant women have access to health care. What a radical thought. Not try to take it away by sabotaging the Affordable Care Act. It also means the pregnant women have access to adequate food nutrition and the very basic things that you need to carry a healthy baby to term, which this administration is trying to undermine. So, and then Pope Francis says equally sacred with the care for the unborn is the care for the born. For those already born, as he says. And then it goes on and talks about families and people on the economic margins, those who are sick and disabled, older adults, victims of human trafficking, economic slavery, and the whole economic issue. And then he says, we can't turn our back on the situation of migrants and on the racial injustice in our times. Those are equally sacred to the issue of the unborn. So what we're trying to do is to say, hey, let's be pro-life Catholics. The whole spectrum. Yeah.
What a good thing. Simone, it's the last question. What have you heard during the first 3 days of the convention that has really stayed with you and inspired you?
Oh, my gosh. I think my favorite moment was the roll call of the states. To see the diversity of people coming together and the struggles they have. One of the most poignant, because I have friends in Iowa, was the couple from Iowa who stood out in their ruined field and cast their ballots. They had been going to talk about environmental issues, but they just had to say, we need help. That was so poignant. And then I think Michelle Obama and former President Obama's speech were so clear and so direct and so urgent about we've got to do this. We have got to do this. And so for me, as the Obama campaign used to say, fired up, ready to go. Well, hey, It got me going, that's for sure.
Good. Sister Simone Campbell, the original nun on the bus, is Executive Director of Network Lobby for Catholic Social Justice. And I hear that you've got a new book coming out in September called Hunger for Hope. The very title of that, if anybody knows you and sees that title, they're going to run to get that book. Now, you can promise me right now that you will come back on and we can talk about that book?
Oh, absolutely. It would be a joy. And I think it'd be nourishing for both of us to do it. Look forward to it.
I think so too. Thank you, friend, for taking this time with us today. Look for more of our convention coverage, including interviews with leaders, activists, and delegates all week at stateofbelief.com. I'm Welton Gaddy. Thanks for watching.